So thank you very much for joining me today, Walt. I wanted to ask you to come into the podcast because as with my partnership with the Cardiff Card Show and a good friend with Gav, he wants to speak to some or wants to hear from some of the companies that are sponsoring the show. And it made so much sense with my inquisitive nature to interview yourself because I'm fascinated by what you guys are doing. So hello and welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and to have a chat on this lovely, or on my side, lovely Saturday morning.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Well, what I wanted to do, or how I wanted to start it, was with yourself introducing the company, and then we'll go into a bit more detail about what the company does, where it fits within the collectibles industry, and then go into a little bit more detail about what you personally do, where what you collect and that sort of thing as well. If you're cool to go through that.
Yeah, sure. So, as Sam has said, I'm Walter. I am the country manager for Bits UK. The actual company itself, it has a product which is basically a live auction platform for collectibles. Now, what that means is, or how it's facilitated is, sellers would have live streams, and then they'd be able to show the items in real time, show the condition of the items, and then buyers have the opportunity to bid on them. So you have an audience they can show to. So you have a lot more eyes on an item at any point in time, bidding on things that they would like to collect. And that is pretty much the core aspect of the product. And how it fits into the industry is, we've done a lot of research into how people trade collectibles right now. And there hasn't been such a central platform where people can either trade or sell or buy safely and transparently, in a very fast way as well. We're in the age of fast tech, and just anything fast, and it just seemed very weird that there was no solid platform or single platform to be able to facilitate that. I've seen people trade on Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups. Obviously there's TikTok shops, etc. But our platform brings in all the benefits of all those different areas and puts it into one platform. We've been live mainly in France for over a year, and we launched in the UK just around 2.5 months ago. So it's been a short journey for the UK so far, but it's been a very exciting and exponentially growing one, as I'm sure you're aware of. So as to myself, my background, I'm the country manager of Bits, so I mainly manage the strategy and overall direction of where Bits should go. And I guess in terms of how the company is presented to the UK, the flavor of how it will be presented. So, obviously it's customer first, seller first. It's very seller centric, and the sellers are the ones driving the platform. So it makes sense to listen to them, and help them develop and grow on the platform. So it's a very simplified summary of myself, but there's a lot of things that go under that. Obviously, but that's my role at the moment. Prior to this, I was the head of operations for Voggt London, which is like a ride-hailing company. I was mainly heading, process optimization, again, just efficiency, just the general business operations of business. And I'm originally from Australia, so I flew over here 3-4 years ago. People might be surprised about this, but I actually prefer the UK now over Australia.
What?
Australia is like it's just so humid, and it's just too much sun now, which is such a poor thing to say from Australian, but yeah. And the question you had around what I collect. So I actually had a thought about this before Bits. Okay. I thought I didn't collect anything. Right now I've got a lot of Pokemon cards, Funkos, just as part of the job, just to sort of immerse myself in my role. But I got my brother to take a picture of my room, and I realized that between when I first got my job and between when I moved to England, I was actually building and collecting like Gundam figures and Zoid figures. So my room is just littered with Gundam figures because I used to love robots when I was a kid, and I used to hate the fact that I couldn't collect robots when I was younger. So my first paycheck, I just bought like 20 figures of robots, and I just spent 6 months building them. But yeah, that was my main first collectible item. And maybe because I haven't investigated, but hasn't been many people who I see building Zoids or Gundam so far. So yeah, that's my thing. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Like going from I mean, that's a lot of information. That's good. From the transition from sort of getting back into the collectible side of things and almost having that, damn you, I want to, why can't I collect these things?
Yeah.
I think that I resonate with that. Like we were very fortunate as kids, we got to play games and stuff and whatnot. But as an adult with adult money, I think that's what triggers something. You're like, this is unlimited. I can have whatever I want now.
Exactly. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. I went on an absolute spree at some point, and then I just had too many boxes everywhere. But that's adult life, right?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I'm interested to know as well is, like you said, that that Bits as a company as well, for guys listening in, the cool thing for me is that, you know, the amount of people you see on like eBay and stuff that say near mint, and this card's got one photo of the card. You get the card and you turn it over, and it's like somebody's written a name on the back or something. You know, it's just awful. And the fascinating thing for me is, with Bits, it's a live video, and you can turn the card around. You can, if they say near mint, it doesn't matter. You can see what the card is, and you've got that visual confirmation that they've got the card for a start, and that it is what they say. So I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's a obviously interesting situation for sellers, because they can't get away with lying. There have been some cases where they're like, sellers do say, oh, there's a near mint, and then viewers will say, hey, actually, there's a dot over there, or there's a scratch over there, and you're like, oh, okay, fair. You can't, you're held fully accountable in that situation, which is a great plus for any sorts of sales or trading, to be honest.
Yeah, it really is. And with Bits as well, like what do you see as within the community? Where do you see you guys going within the community?
This is my personal opinion, is we just want to be known as the trusted platform to trade for an avenue for all types of trading. So there's different types of people who trade. You know, a lot of people, they trade for a living. They do it as a side hobby. A lot of people do sales or trades to just let go of the old collections, etc. It's a place to come to, which is trustworthy, has a good community. You can add an element of entertainment. So your flexibility on how well your sales perform or how well your trades perform depends on how you run the shows as well. So it's a bit of a mix of everything, rather than just posting an item on the website and hoping people see it and then buy it. So we just want to be that cool platform, that cool, trustworthy, accountable platform for people in the community.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's certainly where it is. I mean, that's how I see it. So that's it's doing a good job on that side of things for sure. With the because I met you guys in person at the London card show. And as I said at the start, Gav, that's running the Cardiff card show, you guys are sponsoring that event as well. And where do you see, or how do you see the shows developing as well? Because it's really cool to physically see people, and I had a spot on the show as well. It was really cool to sit there and do a show live in the card show as well. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the actual shows?
The actual show, in terms of the show in general, I think these are all definitely in their infancy. They can grow a lot more, and I'm just looking as a reference to America or even Australia. Those pop culture events are quite huge,
massive.
And you know, it was a pleasure to work with Harry at the London Card Show. But you know, he's doing great, and each show is going to be bigger and bigger and bigger venues. And the reason why I touch upon the size of the venue is, when you increase it, you have people or companies like us who come in and be able to utilize the space in more creative ways. So what I would like to do eventually is, this is just one of my ideas, is having like a space in the center of the room which is circular rather than flat, and then just have shows like 360. And then, you know, maybe implement guerrilla shows. So we'll have a specific store that's just run by Bits, running streams from Bits, and then we'll just go out to sellers, or we'll go out to people on the trade night or the floor and be like, hey mate, you want to try try selling this on bits. You know, we've got a steady stream of 20, 30 people watching. Just chuck it up and see how it goes, and just give people with flavor. And obviously there's a lot of other creative marketing ideas, but it'll be cool because it'll be, you know, it might be cool that there's a trade floor for specific types of items, and then there is the bit store for a specific type of transaction, like high volume or, you know, quick sales, flash sales, etc. So just trying to fit that all into a nice, okay, that's where you go for this, that's where you go for this, or bits is for this. That'll be really cool eventually.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And as you say, that you can see, because I've been to like some of the bigger shows outside of collectibles, but excuse me. Some of the bigger shows where they've like take over the NEC, or they like in Germany in Dusseldorf, they take massive like 10 halls, and they have big stands where, as you say, there's like focal points for one company's got mass. Yeah, so I can see that as well. That'd be awesome to see.
Yeah,
really cool. With the sort of the progress of how the shows are going, and looking at the different collectibles that are in there, for the listeners that may not know bits, I guess, what kind of collectibles are currently on there, and which ones are you sort of looking at? Are there any other areas that you're thinking, oh, you know, we could get some of these in as well, would be cool to sort of feature?
Yeah, so the main categories that you'll probably see as soon as you open the app is Pokemon, sports, and then Funko and comics as the top 4 that you'll most see frequently. We're starting to see an uptick in other TCGs like Yu-Gi-Oh! MetaZoo. MetaZoo just has suddenly exploded. I think they had a new drop last week. Okay. So we had a lot of sellers trying to selling MetaZoo. And then we have Akora, Weiss Schwartz. We just added Harry Potter because we're the big Harry Potter day tomorrow. But we know that Harry Potter is quite a big thing. Yeah. But all of the big franchises, I believe, will be a big opportunity, like Star Wars, Lego. Yeah. Even like Lord of the Rings. Like, I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. So those will definitely, once we find that community to sort of expose themselves and try themselves on platform, then they'll definitely be moving up. And going forward, I think other things would include, we're trying to look for magic sellers to come on board, and also potentially clothing, like fashion or sneakers. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, that those are still all in sort of exploration phase at the moment, but it'll be cool to have that integrated.
It really would. And I think as well, having, I mean, for from the business side of things and for the community side, both side of things, there's going to be so much crossover. Like even in my Discord, where there's so many guys that I've met through Pokemon, but some collect Formula One helmets, some collect the Lego, and like there's just so many things in collectibles that, and if you guys offer that great platform where they can, the core of it is the same for across all of them, that could be huge.
Yeah, exactly.
Really exciting. Okay, going on to yourself, a bit more. I know a lot of the guys that follow here are into Pokemon, but you said that, you know, there's other collectibles there as well for yourself. Do you, I might know the answer actually to this, but because I was on your live the other night, and you're Korean as well, you speak Korean, and I thought it was really cool. You were reading like the Korean names of the Pokemon, right? That was really cool. And for me, I prefer, I'd say 90% of just the Asian market for Pokemon cards compared to English. I think the quality of the cards is better. But for you, what language do you prefer to collect personally?
That is a tough one. If I had enough cash, I would collect everything from both English and Korean. Okay. For Japanese, I would probably only collect like chase cards, like very cool cards. Okay. But yeah, there's some deep patriotism within me that I want to collect Korean cards. And yeah, I think it's because as a Korean, the thing that pulled me in was the way the Pokemon are named. Okay. As a Korean, a lot of the names are just funny, like ridiculous. Why? A lot of the names are built off slang, like Korean slang. Okay. So like, let's say Snorlax in Korean, when you directly translate Snorlax into from Korean into English, it literally is eat and sleep. Like that's what the name is. Um,
Yeah, okay.
and one the best example that I share or my partner shared with me is like Farfetched. Farfetched is just there's no meaning to it in English, like it's just a unique name. But in when you translate the Korean name into English, it literally means spring onion duck. So like there was just all these situation where it was quite funny.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, that's the reason why I'm collecting them. To be honest, yeah,
That's really cool. I like that. And it makes sense. I mean, that is
yeah,
right. Like
exactly.
say,
It's yeah, yeah, exactly.
that's really cool. And then for yourself, because you do some sales on bits as well.
Mhm.
And it's for me, it's always really, really cool because like I've sold things on obviously eBay from
Mhm.
back in the day, but then TikTok Shop,
Mhm.
and various other platforms, my own website and stuff as well. But to have yourself
Mhm.
and Marion and some of the other guys, Chloe and that lot, in the chat when lives are going on, for me,
Mhm.
it makes me feel like if anything ever goes wrong, I can just
Mhm.
go, yeah, what's going on, or anything like that. And it sort of gives me as a seller some confidence, or a lot of confidence, that
Mhm.
the people behind the business
Mhm.
actually care about the sellers and the community, like
Yeah.
literally genuinely care. It's amazing. I'm really impressed with that side of things.
Yeah, no, I thank you for that. I appreciate it. It's again, it's one of the aspects that refer to the flavor of how the company should be perceived and
Yeah.
taken, which is again the reason why I do lives, or the reason why our team does lives, is to really understand the experience of the seller,
Okay.
because you often find companies, whenever they deal in marketplace or even just normal B2B or B2C, they get feedback, but
Mhm.
then they may not necessarily feel the urgency of it or feel the specific pain of
Yeah.
the issue. So for myself, it's like, okay, I'm going to host a show and then I'll run it, and then I'll go, oh, this is what Sam mentioned, or this is what someone else mentioned. It actually really is painful. It affects 10% of my time on live. So what you do is you take that feedback, and it becomes all the more powerful when you raise it internally and say, okay, I've experienced this as well. It's validated. Um, let's figure out a way to solve it, because a lot of places don't do that,
Yeah.
and then it just becomes a disconnect between the platform and the actual users, which is very, very dangerous in my opinion. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that's yeah, we wholly do it just to get just to really understand every step.
Yeah, that's amazing. Actually, that's really cool. I think that is. Well, I mean, that's going to what stems you apart from others, but also to just just builds the trust and confidence in
Mhm.
the platform, and even like I mean, you guys have your own Discord as well,
Mhm.
where the English and French sellers, I guess, as you grow and go to different countries, they'll all be
Yeah.
in there as well, where everybody's so cool, but they all put in, okay, there was a bug with this, or I've got a suggestion, there's a
Mhm.
bugs and suggestions, so this is
Mhm.
what happened, okay, we'll fix that, or there's a suggestions, and every suggestion gets listened to. You guys clearly talk about it,
Mhm.
and things happen fast, like,
Mhm.
oh wow, how's that happened already? It's
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah,
impressive. Cool.
yeah. We hope to maintain that speed
Okay.
as we grow.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so we're getting towards the end. We've got another couple of minutes, and I wanted to see if there's anything that from what you've learned from
Mhm.
going live and doing your streams, if there's anything that you would give as tips to people, because I know a lot of people ask me for tips on certain
Mhm.
things, and I'm sure they ask others. So yeah, if you've got any tips with or what you wish you knew before you went live the first time, or anything like that, yeah,
Mhm.
it'd be great to share.
What I wish I knew before I went live is I had underestimated the entertainment value of doing the live.
Okay.
Like even if you have amazing items or like chase items that will draw people in, keeping them is another story altogether.
Yeah.
So the biggest tips I have for sellers is, yes, you're there to sell products, and even if you have a product that is being sought for by a lot of people, whether it be latest releases or vintage items, uh, you're the figurehead of the show. So you have to keep people engaged. Uh, I don't think there is such a thing as over talking in the shows, unless you're completely disregarding the comment section, you're just talking. But talking, filling in the dead space, keeping the vibe alive is so important, and you can see huge impact in terms of the uptake of how well your products sell, or how fast it sell, versus if you just sit there and go, here's the item
Yeah.
next. Now it could be down to jittery vibes for a lot of sellers, etc. But I think it just takes a little bit of practice. And you've got nothing to lose. You've got nothing to lose unless you can't make a fool of yourself unless you like throw the phone up and then, throw the phone into the toilet bowl or something, like it's so hard to do something like that.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the main thing that I had.
That's exciting. That's cool.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay. And then the final question I've got for you, Walt, is actually what we do as part of the show is ask a question from somebody that asked, or that I spoke to, the last person I spoke to, they leave a question. So when we finish the live, I will pause it, or when we finish, I'll take your question so that then the next person can be asked that. So what they asked was, do you have, and if you do, okay, let's reword it. Do you have any regrets with collecting?
Do I have any regrets with collecting? The only regret is the amount of space it takes up.
I know. Tell me about it.
It takes a lot of space, but that's not exactly like a negative regret. No, I think collecting to a lot of people, I mean, the way I handle it is it's more for like the visual and physical aspect of it. It's no different to someone buying a painting and then putting their painting up in their house. So other than the space it takes, no
good
at all.
But can you just let us know all the social medias and where we can find Bits? How do we get onto Bits?
Please follow us on Instagram. It's bits_live_UK. You can find us also on Facebook. I think it's bits_UK there. But those are the two main platforms. We do have a TikTok profile as well, which is also bits_live_UK, I believe. I think so. It's either bits_UK or bits_live_UK.
Perfect. Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, Walt, and we will catch up soon.
Cheers. Perfect. Thank you very much, Sam.